What's up, everyone? Hello.
Cool set dance.
Welcome to the podcast this week. As you can see, I'm joined by Cyber Ninja and
You can't see me,
Omega
but I'm
here.
waving. You can't see me,
So,
but I'm waving.
someone was saying
But you can't see me.
that YouTube was not working correctly or something. Let me go in here and see what's happening. Yeah, someone was saying they weren't seeing the stream or something.
It's working fine for me.
Okay, let me open it up on this other tab.
Yeah, I have it up.
They might just have to refresh the stream is what it is, but we'll see here. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's fine to me. All right. I don't know. If you're having trouble with it, refresh. You're seeing a lag or something like that. All right. So the main topics for today are going to be two simple topics. We're going to talk a little bit about the Morbius release date. And we're going to go over the first episode of Boba Fett, and then we'll do some questions from you guys, because I see some questions in the chat about things that's not, we don't have planned to talk about, but we'll talk about it in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Good to see everybody here. Laura, Sky, Introverted Unicorn, Growly Bear. What's in the house? We have Cal, Abdi, Gamer Man, Fat Man TV. Yeah, it's good to see you guys. All right, so first we're going to talk about this news about Morbius, which I think I just saw it today. I don't know if I'm a day late on this or not, but it looks like Morbius, it was supposed to come out on January 28th, has been pushed back to April Fool's Day. April 1st. So this is the Jared Leto movie based in the Sony Spider-Verse, I think is what they're saying. There's been confusion whether or not it's MCU or not. I don't know. But either way, it's been pushed back by a few months now. And they're saying it's because of the whole COVID Omicron thing. But I don't know. I think it might be because they just don't have a lot of faith in the property. And they think that, maybe they need to promote it a little bit more or something. Maybe it's not doing well in terms of like, what they think the reception for the film and like the feedback they're getting from it, because Spider-Man is killing it right now. Like it's breaking
I think
records.
that's why they pushed it back. It would have been a failure if they put it out right now, I think
it makes more sense that it's something else other than COVID, because let's be honest, none of those people actually care about people they've been releasing movies while Delta was out. They don't care about any of this. So there's another reason. They're saying that's the reason why, but I have a feeling that's not the reason why. So thoughts on this movie in general, because it's been pushed back. Like, let me look here now. It's been pushed back. So the dates originally were July 31st or July 10th, 2020, July 31st, 2020, March 19th, 2021, October 8th, 2021, and then moving to January in 2022, and now getting shifted to April of 2022. Thoughts on this movie in general? Like, are you excited about it? Like,
I think all these pushbacks are really bad. I mean, we said the same thing about Widow, but that was, I mean, we said, I don't think it was, I think Widow was different just because it was being pushed back because of COVID. I think Morbius started that way, but I think now they're just, I feel like they don't think it's going to stack up against what they're already releasing. So they just keep pushing it back. I don't know. I don't know.
What about you, Omega?
Yep. He's muted.
No, I'm just like, it's whatever. It releases when it releases. I'm not too excited for it. I mean, I'm interested, obviously, but I'm just not like, oh my God, I got to see Morbius.
I wonder if this movie is really flexible because it doesn't really connect anything. I mean, I feel like they're bouncing it around because this one doesn't really matter, like chronologically when it comes out.
Yeah, it could just be released whenever.
The only one in the Sony universe the two that mattered were Venom and Spider-Man because of what happened at the end of Venom. But this movie feels to me like it doesn't really matter if it comes out before or after any of the other movies. And I think it kind of sucks because, I mean, I am interested in this movie. I think it's going to be, I love vampire movies in general. So I like the idea of this vampire superhero character. And I like Jared Leto. So I think that I'll probably like the movie if it's just a solid film. But the constant pushbacks make me just very concerned about the movie. And I know part of it was in 2020 at the very least was about COVID. But as time has gone on, it seems to me like they just keep delaying it and delaying it. It's really weird to me. So, but how do you feel about the new date, April 1st? Do you think it's going to make a difference? Do you think the movie will do better coming out later, or do you think that that it doesn't have a shot to make any money? I'm just curious.
It probably was a good idea to go ahead and delay it to a much later, give some space between the Spider-Man movie, because people are going to be more interested in seeing Spider. That's just going to completely blow out, especially when it comes to just comic movies in general. That's going to blow out anything that comes out even near it. So yeah,
do you think if people go to this movie and there's no teaser for Spider-Man or Venom, they're going to be disappointed in it? Do you think that'll happen?
Yes.
Like if there's no post-credit scene,
you got to think about this, right? Think about this real quick.
Oh, no.
Most people that are not comic fans have no idea who Morbius is.
Exactly.
The only people that are going to see this film are comic fans. So it's already not going to make as much as Spider-Man, right? So it's already going to be knocked down a peg. Then when the comic fans go there and they see like no tie-ins or maybe a tie-in with like Venom or something, they'll have something to talk about. But Sony kind of wants to keep their stuff into Sony. So I think
they could still tie it in with Venom, though. They could still make it connect to Venom.
They could, and if they do that, that will help the film. If it's not in there, because opening weekend, by the time like people are going to see it, and then by the time word spreads, that there's no post-credit scene or whatever, which I guess people would know beforehand with reviews if they go to look at them. Mm-hmm. But by the time it spreads, it's going to make the money that it's going to make. I don't think this movie's. I honestly don't even know if it's going to make its budget back.
So you're predicting this is just going to be a complete.
I think it's going to bomb. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I hate predicting. I just hate predicting things this far out.
Do you think it should have been connected to Blade somehow?
Yes, it should have.
It out?
Yes,
and it still might be. I guess we just have to wait and see. If it's not, I mean, I think it's just going to be. I think it's just going to be bad.
Okay, so here's the final question about this. Do you think it'll get delayed again? Do you think they'll push it back again?
I think if they push it back again, that's a mistake. I hope not.
Some people in the chat were saying it should have came out at Halloween. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah, but they did Venom.
Either.
No, I mean, but like the previous year, like they did.
Yeah. True.
But, Anyway, all right, we're going to be talking about Boba Fett. There's going to be spoilers now, so if you have not seen the first episode, which it's been almost an entire week, I feel like you probably should have watched it already. I know Cyber just watched it today.
I just watched it like a few hours ago, so
there we go. So this is what a lot of people thought was going to be the third season of The Mandalorian, but it's his own show.
The
Book of Boba Fett.
I mean, it feels like the third season, but yes, its own thing.
Right. Because we have the connection with Finnick in it, which we met through the Mandalorian series. And of course, Tatooine always makes everything feel.
Yeah, Tatooine was just an iconic planet in the Star Wars universe anyway. So,
yeah. So the crazy thing is, I guess it isn't too crazy. According to reports now, this movie or this series debuted 13% higher in terms of viewership than Hawkeye did.
Not surprising.
Episode.
Yeah, I'm not
surprising at all. You take a fan favorite. He's been a fan favorite for like what 40 years in
since I was a kid. Since I was a kid. In a lot of ways, Boba Fett to me pulls in the type of fans that like characters like Snake Eyes. These characters that don't say a lot. They're just kind of these badass like characters that
go away and get job done, leave.
Yeah. So he's always been, and Boba Fett is one of those also anomalous characters who has a fan base before we even knew anything about him. Mm-hmm. Like there were people that loved this character before we ever got any information about.
Yeah, then it's like afterwards, his story just been expanded through. Well, now Legends comics, thanks, Disney.
So I'm also not surprised. I think that even though Hawkeye was highly anticipated, Marvel has had a lot of shows on Disney Plus, and there's only really been a couple of Star Wars shows that have been at the top of their game. Of course, Mandalorian being one of them. And then we've had some animated stuff, but this is the next live action thing. And it's also coming back after a very strong season finale for Mandalorian, which like left us on a real big high at the end of that season. So not totally shocked that this one was going to pull in those kinds of numbers. And I'll say that obviously I love Boba Fett. I've loved Boba Fett for a very long time. I've loved the Jango Fett stuff, all the connections, all the stories. I've really enjoyed this character, you know, watching him over the years and all the stuff we learned about him and the whole Clone Wars thing and everything and all of that, just everything about his whole mythos and backstory and stuff like that. Are you either of you big Boba Fett fans? Like, do you?
I'm not a huge. Well, Boba Fett was cool, but I was just more just a sheer Mandalorian fan. Like, I was always just interested in just them as a whole. Because even when it comes to especially when it comes to video games, you always play the Jedi. Because I played a lot of Star Wars Galaxies. I was a bounty hunter in that game, and then once people figured out how to unlock Jedi, I was like, oh geez, great. I don't even care about a Jedi. I got my bounty hunter. I'm happy.
Right. What about you, Cyber? Ever been a huge Boba Fett fan or no?
I was not I didn't start really caring about Boba Fett, honestly, until he showed back up. I mean, that was when I was like, oh, cool, because he was an iconic character. Prior to that, I didn't really care. And I don't know. I know that they said he survived in lore, but is it the same way that they did it in the show, or is just the show the canon now, or is it the same? I don't know.
I think there was some show that this one guy was on. He basically explained how he just said like a screen reading of how Boba Fett gets out of the pit, and then now the show does exactly what that guy said. I don't know how accurate that clip is, but
to be fair, I don't think there's any other way it could have happened.
Yeah, he just crawls out and just
him blowing up the inside of the Sarlacc and then climbing out. I mean, that seems to be the most common way that he was going to get out of the digestive tract or whatever you want to call it. But
in terms of Boba Fett, I would say that I'm not a big Boba Fett fan. I actually do like the Mandalorian better as a character, but that's just me.
So you like Den? Den better as a character. I guess,
yes. Yep. Yep.
Understandable.
Gary, thank you for the super chat. And no, it's not getting delayed later than March. Not getting delayed. They've already filmed quite a bit of the season, so I'm assuming it's going to be fine. Do not worry. Don't stress out, Gary. So the other thing is, and this is something before we even get into the episode, because I want to just drop this little piece of info or my thoughts on this before we start talking about it. I've always known that the Star Wars fandom is full of like a lot of people that are just angry about Star Wars. Like, it seems to me like that's all I ever see anymore.
They hate their own franchise very much.
No, it's very true. I'm pretty sure if you dig, there's probably very positive Star Wars groups out there. But what I see the most often, more than anything, is just negativity about Star Wars. And at a certain point, what do you expect as a fan? You know what I mean? Like, I always wonder, like, at a certain point, you have to just sort of like walk away from it, I guess, is the best way to put it. I mean, it seems like it's a very toxic community. And I know that like the comic book community can be toxic, but the Star Wars community goes in. Like, I have seen videos of them like being very, very, very angry about everything that Star Wars does, specifically the more modern Star Wars. I think the only ones that I've seen them talk positively about in recent times, obviously, is Mandalorian. A lot of people love that show. I did see some negativity about it, obviously, because of the whole Grogu thing, but the show itself seemed to have a positive spin on it. And I think for the most part, one of my favorite ones in terms of the newer Star Wars stuff is Rogue One. So
Rogue One was good.
Rogue One. Yeah. Gary here goes, Happy New Year. Love you guys. Are you mad at me? Never mad at you, Gary. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Good New Year. So yeah, I spend a lot of time. Look, he's got his saber out. There we go. That's what
you just killed yourself. You're dead now. You're dead.
I'm actually surprised you didn't have that sitting next to you from the beginning.
You're still muted, by the way, so we can't hear you.
Actually, I was going to get it earlier, but now who says they hate Grogu?
There's a lot of people that think he's a gimmick character. They were like,
"What's wrong with y'all?" Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, I feel like there's a lot of negativity. And so before we did the podcast tonight, I went through and watched just like a good variety of like reviews of this first episode. And there's a lot of people that just are unhappy people. Like I'm watching the reviews and like there are things that I did not like in the episode. I don't think that I think I still prefer Mandalorian over this series, but there are people that act like this show ruined their life. And it's like nothing they're making now erases the stuff you love. If you love that older stuff, just go back and watch the older stuff. And that's how I feel about it. Like I just
what older stuff was there for the Boba Fett character? He was in one scene. No, he was in
there's the expanded
2
universe.
scenes.
I'm sure there's like
there's expanded. There's the expanded universe lore, which is now Legends. I mean, I'm still pissed at Disney for that crap. But I don't know. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just, I'm all about criticizing. Like, if I don't like something, I don't like something. I can go on and on about it.
I like everything, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
But the difference is, that I don't have expectations for things after a certain amount of time. Like, if something lets me down time after time after time after time, I'm not going to expect it to be great just because. And there's people that just don't like the current state of Star Wars. And they continue to watch the things that they know are not going to be what they want it to be.
Yeah, which I understand. Hey, I don't like the current state of the movie because I think Finn was a completely wasted character, and that just pisses me off. That's just completely pisses me off, and it will never be fixed. So it's like, fine, forget it, whatever. If they come out with a new movie, I'll probably watch it a week later. But it's whatever. I'm not. They've
definitely made mistakes. I feel like this. Like I have seen people who go into these shows anticipating it to be bad, and so it makes it much worse for them.
Kind of like what I did with the new Matrix movie, which I actually finally saw.
Yeah. Would you score it?
Okay, just to go on this tangent for a little bit, I give it about maybe a 4.5 or a 5. There's a good movie somewhere in there. I just wish I saw it because the beginning was cringy as hell. Get rid of it. The middle where it starts talking about the machine civil war. Give me more of that. And then later on, it becomes a Trinity Neo wank fest, and I'm just like, I don't care anymore.
But see, that's
give me more.
But that's the thing is that with Matrix you can always go back and watch the original, which is a much better
just watch the original 3 or the original 2 because a lot of people don't like 3. I thought it was all right, but whatever.
Look, over time, I think everything has the opportunity to become worse because the longer you go, the more mistakes you can make.
Yeah,
a franchise that has exhausted every ounce of its worth, in my opinion.
Simpsons, Family Guy.
No, is
South Park's getting there.
The Terminator franchise. I think.
Yeah.
That was technically done after 2, really.
Yeah.
Same thing with. Would you say like Aliens and Predator have also exhausted just about everything they can do at this point? Do you feel
Predator, absolutely. Aliens wrote themselves into a corner. They could have done more with that franchise.
Don't get me started on Covenant because me and my brother just get angry about that movie every time we talk about it.
So with that being said, getting back to Boba Fett, this is a character that's been around for a very long time. So there's an opportunity to screw things up. Now, in this series, because we're going to talk spoilers here, I'm just going to go out there and say it. I get the impression that this is not going to be Boba Fett, the action star. This is Boba Fett, the Godfather. This is Boba Fett taking over for Jabba with people around him that are going to be badass, but not necessarily Boba Fett being badass. That's the impression that I get from it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the vibe they're going for. Would you agree with that or would you disagree with that? Based on this first episode?
I would agree with that because dude's old.
Cyber.
Yeah, I think I see it more of like this is going to be way more political than action packed, and I think they'll obviously have something towards the end that will be probably more of what you're used to or what you would want to see. See, the thing is, you can't even say what you're used to seeing because the dude didn't do anything.
That's just it.
So you only know based on his lines,
and and
it was very few.
Disney got rid of all of the expanded stuff, which means the only thing that's actual canon for this character
is what was in
the original trilogy and what we saw in The Mandalorian. Because this isn't Jango Fett, this isn't the clone troopers or whatever. Yeah, that's part of his history as a character, but Boba Fett himself, we saw him die in the original trilogy and then show up at the end of Mandalorian.
Right.
So there's not a lot to go on in terms of this character. So I think there's an opportunity to actually, because to be fair, we didn't even really know him. There's a lot of people dissecting who he is as a character. It's like we didn't even know who this person was.
And that's what I mean. Like, if you remember back in the trilogy, he was literally just a mercenary, right?
Yeah.
For hire. Like, I understand we would want to see more of that, but that's literally what Mandalorian did. He started out as somebody taking jobs and then got taken off into another story. I don't need to see more of that out of Boba Fett. This has potential to be something different. I understand people saying they didn't want that with this character, but also if they didn't do it with this character, would anyone care? Would anyone care if it was another generic Mandalorian? No, they wouldn't care. No. So they had to use Boba, and that's fine. It's fine.
You know who the best thing in the series is? Fennec.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's gonna steal the entire show, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I watch it for her, not for Boba Fett, just because what else has that actor done? I don't know him from anything else. What else has he done?
Isn't he the voices for the clone troopers?
I mean, voice acting, fine. I'm saying actual acting. I don't know what else he's done. I'm gonna feel bad if it's something that I've actually followed. I didn't IMDb him or anything, but I'm watching it for Fennec.
I mean, he's mostly recognizable from his Star Wars stuff. He's been connected to Star Wars for a long time. So this is what he's most known for, whether it be voice or face. And
because I think he did. Yeah, I think he did the voices for all the clones.
Yeah. So and Introvert is making a good point here. There are characters that have crossed over from the canon animated universe, obviously, especially with
Ahsoka,
all those characters. So they've done that as well. Also, this series is we're getting flashbacks to things that happened to Boba, like after he got out of the Sarlacc pit and where he's with the Tusken Raiders, and he was being basically manipulated and then tortured and then taken around to dig water up in the desert and stuff like that. And there were people that had issue with this. They thought that this storyline was kind of demeaning for him as a character, but that's the point, right? I mean, the point is to show him at a low point.
Yeah, he's literally crawling out from the pit and then rising up. It's just, I don't know. I think I know exactly where that argument is coming from, and now I just laugh at those people.
Well,
I'm laughing at y'all, kiss my ass.
This is coming from people thinking that he was an unstoppable force that did nothing.
Newsflash, he got knocked into the Sarlacc pit in one of the major battles that he fought in. I mean,
so I originally saw when, the scene comes up when they first find, or when it gets to the point where he tries to stand on his own and fight and he gets destroyed. It's like, well, first of all, he hadn't done, you know what I mean? He was almost near death, but also that just goes to show that he's not that talent that people put him up there on. And that's okay. That's okay.
So here's another question. Do you think, because obviously he's much older now than he was when he fought in the desert or whatever. Do you think the show is going to it's going to be a combination of flashbacks and like present time? Do you think that's all the season? It's going to be like that?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hated that narrow, so I hope not.
John Snow with the $2 super chat. A bit random, but you hear about the Flash movie news. We are going to talk about that. That's going to be the final thing. We'll discuss that at the end. So stick around. After we're done talking about Boba Fett, we will discuss our thoughts on the Flash news, which has, I don't know if it's real or not, but a couple places have ran the story. Anyway, the thing is though that Boba Fett also being an older character, I think they want to show that. I think they want to show that this is how an older bounty hunter would be living his life, in this world, in this universe. And he would want to move up from doing the grunt work to being in charge of everything. So he's taken over for Jabba. And then while he's there, he has all of these people from the city coming in to give him tribute because, that's what Jabba did. And it seems like Tatooine is a different world now. Like, it feels like they've started to, it's not just these little huts and villages. Like, it feels like they've actually expanded to be like, it might still be like, this awful place, but it's got large cities now. We're seeing like these big streets and buildings and things like that. And then you have the mayor, who's obviously corrupt. 100% he's going to be a corrupt character, because we get introduced to his major domo at the beginning, who comes to see Boba, doesn't bring any tribute, and then asks Boba for tribute.
Ask him for tribute.
So clearly there's going to be something going on there. So I think they're showing that the age of Jabba the Hutt and that whole like bounty hunter concept that was so prevalent on
the
Tatooine,
old Wild West that was Tatooine is now
it doesn't exist anymore.
It's
like,
starting to get civilized slowly.
So
it's still on the outer rim, but it's slowly getting civilized.
Well, I mean, look at how much stuff has happened there. I mean, like that place.
There's a lot of stuff that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to know your opinion, and both of you can give me your thoughts on this. I have a feeling, I'm going to call it right now. I think the mayor has been corrupt, but his corrupt stuff has helped curb like crime in Tatooine because he's been doing it all himself. So nobody else can be a criminal because he is the new like king or Jabba.
Yeah, he's probably going to do something like
of this.
Yeah, he's probably gonna do something like, just turn a blind eye to this, so they at least keep it to this one section of the city and not let it spread. It's like if I just let them just do what they need to do over here, and just pay them off to just not spread anywhere else. That's probably what he's really doing. He just has his hands in a lot of just dirt. It just keeps it at bay.
What about you, Cyber? Do you think that the guys in the city with the shields and the weapons are working for the mayor? Because I definitely thought that was what was happening.
Yeah, to me that felt pretty clear, right? Like if it's not, I think that was the intentions. So at the moment, I believe that is probably correct.
So do you think this whole series is going to take place on Tatooine?
Yeah,
they may have. It's going to take place mostly on that Tatooine. It may go to like some off planet or asteroid here or there, but that's about it.
I think if we see anything off world, it's going to be in flashbacks.
Right. I was getting ready to say, because I think this is going to be very quote unquote grounded and very political. I think that's where this one's
fine with.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just because essentially what they're doing with Boba, in my opinion, is a side story to keep people happy until the real stories show up. Okay. I just think it's going to be a small little circle of significance. And then that's it. So I don't think it's going to go much bigger than this.
Oh my God, Gamer Man says I think the mayor is Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my God, please let that be. Please,
I want Darth Jar Jar.
Please,
Jon Snow here with the $5 super chat.
I was reading that earlier.
Also, for 6-year-old Boba is really fetting some buddies. Basically, Clint Eastwood. The parts where they were giving tribute was like Game of Thrones, in my opinion.
Yeah, forget that. What was it, the second or third to last episode of The Mandalorian, where he was just completely wrecking those stormtroopers with that gaffy stick?
Yep.
And rockets out of his knees.
I think it's also safe to say that stormtroopers are the worst fighters in the entire galaxy. So.
I think Dave Filoni's stormtroopers are just garbage. Because if you watch the I think they kind of explained this too in the Bad Batch. When you see the clone troopers in the Clone Wars, even in the movie and in the show, they're competent. They know what they need to do. They work as a cohesive unit. Mm-hmm. Then the stormtroopers, they're just giving minimal training, except for like the elite few, and they're just giving trash armor just because, overwhelming force.
But it's so funny because in the animated series, they have like the special like stormtroopers, the ones that are the clone troopers that know how to do all kinds of specialized stuff.
Yeah, they're the ones training the stormtroopers, so it's kind of like, but it's like there's like a million of them. They just giving basic training.
It's just weird that some of them are like designed to be more badass than the others. But so yeah, we have that. We see that there is obviously still some respect for Jabba. Who was it filling in for Jabba when he was away, or that took over?
God, I forgot his name.
Help him out, chat. Help him out.
Starts with a B, I think.
Bib Fortuna. That's what it was.
That's it. I know. Okay. And you remember him from the original movies, like you would know that character from that. But anyway, he was the one that took over after Jabba was gone, and so now this is what Boba Fett is doing. And he's also got to stay in that healing chamber because of the fact that he's been hurt so much over the years that he has to sort of keep healing himself. Yeah,
but that's so weird because when we found him in Mando, that was not a thing. What did he do? He didn't have a healing tank then, right?
I'm going to guess something happened. Like, I'm going to guess that they're going to give us a flashback to what actually went down. So Liam here says, do you think Boba being a good fighter in Mando but not great in his own show will be a plot hole? Well, we've only seen him have one altercation, and it was with technology we haven't really seen
Mhm.
used in any of the shows or anything, which is these force field shields and these weird like electro.
And in the flashback, he
or
was
whatever.
almost near death.
Yeah.
So
I would say if obviously he's hurt because he keeps having to go in the healing tank. So something is going on. Now, whether we find out exactly what that is, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I think at this point it's just a mystery as to why he's still in the back to tank.
well, it's supposed to be, but
Yeah.
I think the backstories are going to lead up to that, and I think Cyber's going to be upset because I do believe they're going to do that for the majority of the season.
yeah.
Introverted Unicorns, I'm curious if they will connect Boba's crime boss story to the Pike Syndicate. If they have time, because I feel like this is going to be so here's my theory.
How many
on this.
episodes is this?
6, I think. I think it's 6
wow.
episodes. Let me double check.
Chat, how many episodes is it?
Let's see. 7. 7
okay.
episodes. 7. Yeah. So they don't have a lot of time. I feel like we're only going to have 2 stories we're going to work on here. The one in present day and flashbacks for Boba. That's what I think we're going to get. I don't know how specific it's going to go, outside of that. But 7 episodes to me feels better than 6. I don't know why. I just feel like anything more than 6 is better, especially with how I felt Hawkeye needed at least one more episode. I feel. So in the flashbacks, though, we did have something interesting happen with the Tusken Raiders. There was a creature that I've never seen in Star Wars at all, even in the expanded universe. This like 4-armed, I don't know, centaur.
Oh yeah. That came out of the ground.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let me just say this. That did not look like a Star Wars monster to me.
I think I remember seeing them in one of the comics. Let me look this up.
So, like, even on The Mandalorian, everything we've seen from the giant ice spiders to any of the weird creatures, the fish, or the frog people or whatever, they all feel like they belong in the Star Wars universe. For some reason, this one just felt weird to me. It reminded me a lot of like the Clash of the Titans monster from like back in the, I don't know, 60s, 70s, whenever that was made. Also, I said it was based on Mortal Kombat. It did kind of look like Goro a little bit, or Katara. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a cool scene. The monster was very cool, but I'm not familiar with it. And also, it didn't feel like it fit within the Star Wars world. What did y'all think of the monster in the flashback? It was really
General Grievous. And there was another Jedi that was in Clone Wars that had 4 arms and wielded 2 double-sided lightsabers.
Yeah, but isn't General Grievous an android or a robot?
Well, he's kind of a cyborg. Well, and his arms they'll split off and everything, but still, no, there was a Jedi who had 4 arms. It wasn't the same species as that monster, but yeah, there's been plenty of 4-arm monsters in creatures in Star Wars.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's gonna. I mean, I think it was cool. I don't think it's gonna have any. Like, I don't think we'll.
Yeah, Master Krell.
I just think the face looked too cartoony to me. That's what it was. It didn't look as monsterish as some of the other creatures. I'll have to go back and look at it. The face just looked weird to me for some reason.
I had no issue with it. I'm like, it's Star Wars, a bunch of crazy monsters in it, so whatever.
So even there was nothing like that in the games or anything like that you ever ran into? Nothing.
Well, that looked like that, and it kind of just went down on 6 limbs.
Yeah.
I want to say there is, I just don't remember. But yeah, there were several sentient creatures that had 4 arms. Like we mentioned in the chat, Jedi Master Krell, who was an asshole. I think Saboba had 6 limbs total, and there were several other monsters.
Lord Genome here supporting us with a $2 super chat. Is the CGI here worse than Mando, or is it just me?
I'm gonna have to agree. I have to agree, but yeah, it is a little bit worse.
Anything specific that stood out to you as not being as good as
the one little dog lizard creature thing that looked kind of weird at times.
The one that looked like a cross between like I don't know what they're called, but it looks like an alligator.
Looks like a Varen from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
You don't play Mass Effect.
What about you, Cyber? Any thoughts on the VFX?
Yeah, no, I feel like the first couple of shows from Marvel, they really put the money into the CG, and now they're like taking the budget and they're putting it on like 1 or 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Star Wars is so CG heavy, like it has to be.
Yeah, well,
that
I don't know if it has to be.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But I think in later episodes we'll probably see it improve. I do think I think it's kind of poor to have your first episode have some sketchy CG, but it wasn't anything I couldn't watch. It wasn't like Mortal Kombat from the 90s. Like it was watchable. It just
Mortal Kombat Annihilation. How about that?
Yeah.
One?
Christ, you had to bring that up.
Yeah, that's it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't.
Oh, you mean the CG?
It wasn't great either. Yeah.
You know what took me out of it though? Honestly, it wasn't even the VFX. It was when they used those Boston Dynamic dogs, the ones that are in modern days, the robots from modern times. They were in the streets walking around. You didn't see that? The actual Boston Dynamic dogs. They're not really dogs, but that's what they look
I
like.
didn't.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah. I didn't. It didn't bother me.
When I saw that, I was like, why are they using like 2021 technology in Star Wars? Like, it just felt really weird. I was like, because they were so similar. You've got a world where you could make them look like anything you want, and that's what you choose to use.
Well, then again, if you look at the IG units, they don't look too, high techy. There's the
placement.
droids.
But that's what I mean, though. These things looked more high tech than the actual technology that we get, because they looked real. They looked like
I see.
from
Yeah,
modern
it's the other way. I don't know. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. It took me out for a minute. I'm like, why are the Boston Dynamics?
Well, I guess it
robots?
was because we're used to seeing those old droids from the original series and whatnot, and then again, this is like 60 years apart from that. So,
well, it is, but then a lot of the droids still follow the same like formula
Protocols,
as the ones
yeah.
they've had. So, I just didn't see any reason for, like, you have droids that walk and talk and beep and buzz and do all this. Why do you need these ones that look like dogs? It just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, why are they even there? Jon Snow with a $2 super chat. I hope Obi-Wan isn't completely set on Tatooine. I mean, I'll say this. I expect it probably will be, so I won't be upset if it doesn't, because I think that's kind of where it's going to go with it. But I don't know. I'm excited for the series, the Obi-Wan series, but I mean, I kind of expect it to be on Tatooine. I mean,
Sangoro.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
that's
anyway,
what I was thinking too.
we get to the end of the episode after some parkour on the roof from Finnick and these two ninjas working for the mayor, I guess, where she pushes one over the side because there's two left and she only needs one. And so she picks this one, and at this point, the two Gamorreans, I think they're Galamorians.
Yeah, Gamorreans.
They take Boba back to the tank, the healing tank or whatever. And I believe that's kind of where the story wraps up a little bit at the end of the episode. So we're kind of left there with that. So I guess it's a point where I ask everybody in the chat, like, what would you score this episode?
But wait, you forgot about when they went to the casino and they were playing jizz music there. I'm not kidding. That's what the music is called. Jizz. Look it up on Wikipedia.
Yes, I know. And I also know, was it Jennifer Beal, the lady, what is her name? Garza. Madame Garza. That's it.
Oh, the Orange Twilight woman?
Yeah.
No. That's what that is.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm seeing some 7s. I'm seeing some 5s. What would you guys score it at?
I would say this is about a 7.5, maybe. I was gonna say about an 8 or so, but 7.5 seems more accurate.
Basically, you're saying
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a few issues here and there, no big deal, but I'm just like, I'm interested for more. Then again, it's first episode, so I kind of give it some leeway.
All right. What about you, Cyber?
I literally fell asleep for like 5 minutes. No, I did, right? And I was telling Omega earlier, I don't know if anything that I was watching, like, I don't think it was this show's fault. I could have just been tired. But the fact that it wasn't like, I was not like super into it, like, oh my God, this is an amazing episode. I can't wait to see more. I literally walked out of it the show went off and I was just kind of like, meh. If I have to give it a score, I'm going to be honest, for an opener, it's a 4 out of 10 for me. It's below average. The only significant thing that happened was showing how he survived, but we already knew he survived because it's not like we saw him. Yeah. So I really didn't like it. I think that it's not that the story is bad. It's that nothing really happened. Like nothing really happened. Well, we just have a couple
There are some people
questions,
saying
and
that as of right now, the series it seems unnecessary. I don't know if that's true or not. But,
well, I think down the road again, I think this is filler for for more significant stuff, and they're using Boba Fett, and that's fine. And I think it's going to be interesting a couple episodes down the road. But I'm not hooked. I'm not like, oh, I need to see more of this yet. It's 4 out of 10. It's not must see TV. It's just it's Star Wars. If you like Star Wars, watch it. If you don't start with Boba Fett.
Right.
Forget about this guy. 4 arms.
Yeah, he doesn't look like that creature though.
Yeah, he doesn't look like him, but yeah, there's been plenty of other 4-armed creatures in Star Wars. So
that creature specifically is what I was wondering about.
Yeah.
This means Cyber thinks Hawkeye is better than the Book of Boba Fett.
Opener wise, opener to opener, I think it was. But I mean, it's hard to say until the show's over, you know.
All right, before I give my score, I do want to talk briefly about this. I think they show how you survive for casual fans who've not seen The Mandalorian and didn't know he survived. Okay, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. I also want to point out that this kind of calls back to what we were talking about earlier about like the Star Wars fandom and stuff like that. I think that there are Star Wars fans, just like a lot of comic book fans, who spent such a long time loving something that wasn't universally appreciated because it was considered to be a very small, geeky community. And now it's exploded. Now Star Wars is literally for everybody. Like,
it's ubiquitous throughout the pop culture. So everyone knows about it.
I believe that a lot of the people that are upset with where Star Wars is right now isn't just because sometimes the quality is underwhelming, but because they don't like that their little something is now for everybody.
Oh, just like in D&D.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
that's how people feel about it. In a lot of ways, there's some comic book stuff that I feel that way about. You know what I mean? Like, we all feel that way. It just depends on how you handle it. And I'm not going to go out and petition for something not to exist because I don't like it. I mean, I think that's really silly. Like, for example, the Cloak and Dagger TV series, I thought was very underwhelming for me. I didn't really like it. I didn't really get it. But it was a series that wasn't written for me. It was written for people that like those kinds of stories. And that's fine. I don't think that should not exist because I didn't like it. I'm not that, hardcore on it. But I truly believe there's a big part of the fandom that feel that way, that don't believe that casual love for something is enough for them to get anything. Like, they're going to be making stuff for everyone. And yeah, once in a while, you'll get something that's just for you. Like, I would say, spoilers for Mandalorian finale from season 2. I would say that things like bringing Luke back for a cameo in a very important scene is not for casual fans. That is for the hardcore fans, right?
Yeah, for some of the younger people, the people who just not in Star Wars, like, okay, who's this guy?
Yeah, it's not going to hit them the same way. So every once in a while, they're going to give you something like that. But these particular like IPs in general, even the superhero stuff that we love or whatever, they can't keep recycling the same stories over and over and over again. And you could argue that maybe they shouldn't do any more. Maybe they should just end it. But then you're going to have people that are going to screaming, like, why don't they just bring back this character? Because they want to see that character again. So for me, it's like, it's a really tough situation because I understand the love for something to the point of like, I don't want anybody else to have it because it's all mine. It's all mine, But then I also understand that there's things that are just made for everybody. And that's a lot of the flack that Marvel catches too, because they do stuff sometimes it's just for the fans. Sometimes they do stuff that's for everybody, and that's just the way it is. So for me, I think this was kind of a middle of the road premiere for me. I would put it somewhere around a 5 or maybe a 6 because I did enjoy it, but I also think that they could have tried a lot harder. I think they could have had a better opener, honestly. I think there was a lot of things where they just kind of dropped the ball on it, but I still enjoyed it. And I will say that I'm very interested to see where the show goes. But I'm more excited for Mandalorian season 3. Just put it that way. I'm more excited for that.
I'm more interested in these episodes because, like I said, I love the Mandalorians. I think Boba Fett's a cool character. I'm kind of seeing how they expand them, outside of the EU.
Do you think that because Boba Fett is his show, do you think we'll see more callbacks to the older stuff?
Yes.
So you suspect they'll have more fan service, basically?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Luke shows up. Well, actually, no, that wouldn't happen. Never mind. I mean, it'd be cool if he did, but no, that's not going to happen.
Well, the only reason why I say that is because we might get callbacks. That's the only thing. I don't think Luke will show up. We might get callbacks to other stuff. So,
or probably like flashback to him fighting him or something. Maybe, who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, but the thing is that he wouldn't have ever even encountered him, right? Because he fought him on Jabba's ship, and then he was thought to be dead. And then Luke went off to a planet and drank milk out of an animal's.
This is why I don't like the. Oh God, so. I don't like the new Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Look, I do like new Star Wars. I just don't like the movies. The movies are trash because they had all this potential and they just threw it in the trash. They just.
I thought Rogue One was one of the best Star Wars movies.
Yes, Rogue One was great. Solo was decent. What was the other Star Wars movie that came out during that time? What was it? Just Rogue One and
That was just Rogue One and Solo.
Okay, just Rogue One and Solo.
And then the three of the new trilogy.
Yeah, and even with Fallen Order, great game. It's basically just Dark Souls, but with Jedis. Great game. I just don't like the major movies.
Mm-hmm. See, and Harper, I'm going to add a little bit more to this before we move on. Boba Fett is an older character that has fans from the old films, but they also want to use this show as a platform to bring in new viewers because that's the intention of it, right? So I think it's one of those things where it's people that love Boba are going to resent it for being a modern take on an old bounty hunter, and the newer fans are going to be like, "This is pretty good," and so it's going to be this culture clash, kind of. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about this news from the upcoming Flash movie.
Please don't be true.
I'm going to pull up the tweets, and then we'll go through it here.
God, I hope they don't do this. I was sent
this directly when it came out, I guess. We're going to read it here. It goes, I don't usually tweet about DC stuff, but I have a friend who had seen The Flash and the movie. It will erase everything Snyder has done. Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League never happened now. Erased from continuity. Affleck and Cavill are both gone. Now, that's the first tweet that came out.
If they do that, with Ben Affleck, I kind of get. I mean, I liked him as Batman, but I understand. Henry Cavill is the best Superman we have had since Christopher Reeve. If they erase him as being Superman, what are you doing? Have you seen? He was on. Henry Cavill was recently on the cover of one of the magazines. I don't remember which one. He looks the most like Superman in that picture than he has ever looked. Whoever ruined the entire Superman series, it didn't need to be beaten with an inch in their life. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, based on this news, there's more tweets. I'm going to go through some of these other tweets. There's follow-ups, whatever. Based on this news, Ezra Miller came out and made a statement basically refuting this, saying that they would never do something like this. They would never erase anything or whatever. And he could be telling the truth, but also lying there, because when you do a timeline change, that doesn't mean that any of this goes away, that it's not canon. It just existed before a change to the timeline. So they're not actually erasing that, right? So I think that Ezra's comments about this are kind of sort of damage control, because there is a possibility people are seeing early versions of the movie right now, because the movie is just a few months out. Which, by the way, Cyber thinks it's still not coming out.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that they'll come out and it'll erase it from my memory, is what I'm hoping will happen.
Quentin says, I want Henry. They should use Flashpoint to reboot of Superman and change how he's more like Superman. I mean, I would say the only reason why I believe this could be true is because I honestly believe that they're trying to move away from the Snyder films. That's the only reason why I could believe this was true.
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, we have more here, and they go on to say, Supergirl is now the main super of Earth. Keaton is Batman, and Batgirl will become the new Batman after her film. So because there is a new Supergirl getting introduced in the Flash movie, and we know that, and we know that Michael Keaton is going to be playing Batman as a multiversal version of Batman, and the Batgirl is going to be a series that he's going to be involved with on HBO Max.
Why are they not having Michael Keaton being the old Bruce Wayne, training Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond? Why aren't they doing this?
Because I think that's what I actually I actually think that's what they're doing here.
Oh, okay, maybe cool.
But it's Batgirl and not Batman. That's the problem.
I want Terry McGinnis. This is bullshit.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So I actually think that they don't want to do a Batman Beyond series. They want to keep it in modern times. So this is their way of doing that by making Batgirl the main Bat character or whatever.
Doesn't Batman Beyond take place in like 2030 something or other? Well, yeah, never mind. I guess that's still their future, even though it's not that far away.
Yeah. So I'll say this. I love Henry as Superman. I feel like we got completely shysted out of a second Superman movie.
Mm-hmm.
We should have had a Man of Steel 2, because at the end of Man of Steel 1, he was on that journey to becoming the beacon of hope for Earth. And we went straight from him snapping Zod's neck to him being a god figure that's on trial in Batman v Superman. We never got that era of him as Superman. He never, in the first movie, he was Man of Steel. That's who his character was. By the time we get him as Superman, as that character, he's being put on trial for everything that happened, in in Metropolis. I feel like we should have had a second Man of Steel movie. But that's neither here nor there. We can't change that. So now it looks like, to me, if they are in fact going in this direction, they're just not interested in doing that Superman anymore. And which, by the way, they have a very, very good Superman and Lois TV show. I think they don't want to. I think they're focused on that being Superman, and they're going to move away from that in the films. That's what I think is going to happen. Didn't say I like it, just saying I think that's what's going to happen. And there was one other tweet here. It says, the movie ends with Flash and Supergirl and Shazam forming a new Justice League.
Why don't you just do Young Justice? I don't know. I don't care anymore. I'm done with DC.
Now, I will say here, David F. Sandberg, who is the director of Shazam, responded with, it could be deflection, maybe it's not. It says Shazam is joining the Justice League 2022, starting out with some great news. And people are saying that he's basically calling them out on being fake, but I mean, he could be just doing what a lot of directors do, like James Gunn and stuff, and just plays along
just
with it.
Misdirect, yeah.
I would not be surprised, honestly, if this was their new direction for the Justice League because of what happened with the Snyder cut and the Whedon cut, or whatever you want to call it, because their hands are kind of tied. They're stuck in a really bad situation. Plus, they can't really use Cyborg anymore because Ray Fisher has been in this ongoing
he's done
mudslinging match with Warner Brothers. So I think the only safe people at this point moving forward from the old group is Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa. Because Ezra was introduced, obviously, in the Justice League movie, but I don't consider him to be part of that original circle. I think he was one of the late added characters or whatever. But yeah, Ben Affleck's Batman is gone. Henry Cavill's Superman is gone. Cyborg is gone. So that leaves us with those three characters. And then we're going to be adding Shazam, which I'm okay with Shazam being part of the Justice League. I don't have a problem with that at all. The new Supergirl, don't know. Haven't seen anything from her yet, so I have no idea what she's going to be like.
I mean, granted, I like Supergirl. I mean, Kara Jor-El's cool, so I guess.
Yeah. And as far as Batgirl, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what that's going to be like too, or whatever. What are your thoughts on any of this news, by the way, anybody?
I am too old for this shit. I'll be 40 in a month.
I said it was going to be a train wreck before this film was even written. So, that's literally it. Like, it could be a 1 out of 10, and that's still better than my expectations.
Wow.
So,
yeah, it's like, what the hell is Warner Brothers doing? You had D freaking C, and you just.
I'm just gonna say this. I think Henry and Ben were the two best versions of those characters we've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And that sucks that they're going away because they were, in my opinion, some of the best casting that DC had done.
Yeah, well, Henry Cavill's playing Geralt now, which I still think he's too pretty.
No, he left Geralt. He left that too.
Oh yeah, that's right. God dang it, because he was
going to do he's leaving. It was like, I think it was I can't remember what he signed on for, but
that's right. That's what they're doing, that Witcher prequel with the elves and Michelle Yeoh.
Yes, he's not going to be in there.
Yeah, granted, I love Michelle Yeoh, but
Someone was saying that they could recast Cyborg. That would be the worst thing they could ever do, Cullen. Because
with all the PR that's going with it now.
And I'm not, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they couldn't do it or they shouldn't do it, but from a PR standpoint, that would be the worst thing they could possibly do.
Because no matter who they cast as an actor, that actor's going to get absolutely murdered by the fan base. It's there's nothing they can do about it.
There's a Cyborg on Doom Patrol, and that guy Jovian who plays Cyborg actually does a really good job of that character, but he gets trashed by the fans of Ray Fisher's Cyborg because they feel like he shouldn't be playing the character because there's all this drama with Warner Brothers and Ray Fisher. So no matter who they can, I will say this. I think we will see Martian Manhunter again come back and be a bigger part of the Justice League than Cyborg. And he only got 5 seconds in the Snyder Cut. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that Henry Cavill is leaving The Witcher.
Fuck.
I don't have where I read that at, which is because that was not the topic of discussion.
He says he has I'm looking up here. It says he has a condition to continuing as The Witcher. This is from Game Red. I don't know how accurate this is, but
I don't know either. But it was that could just be for the prequel series that's coming out because it's a scheduling conflict with something that he was doing coming up.
Oh, okay. I still say he's too pretty to be Geralt. I mean, he works as Geralt, but no, Geralt in the books and in the game, he's described as being like this rough, rugged-looking dude. And Henry Cavill's this. I mean,
I hadn't heard anything about him leaving, and I quite enjoyed season 2. So,
I mean, I can't remember where I read that. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Please don't tell me it came from We Got This Covered.
No, I don't even look at that.
Look at this man. Look at him. Just look at him. He's way too pretty to be Geralt. I'm sure people aren't complaining, but
yeah, I don't know. So, as far
I
as
am comfortable enough in my sexuality to say, "Hey, that's a good-looking dude," and to have nothing else. I'm comfortable enough to say that. Are you?
What?
Anyway, continue.
By the way, I just realized Final Fantasy 14 is down for a few hours tonight.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'll just play some Wilder Myth.
Wait, is it already down right now?
Probably. Yeah, it's just the weekly maintenance for a Tuesday, so.
Yeah, that sucks. Anyway, completely unrelated. It was so random that I even said that or whatever.
It said, wait, no, real quick. It says this is. Hang on, I need to see if this still has the link on it because it was actually reported by CNN.
CNN, wow.
Saying that they've already found a replacement. Hang on. Anyway, keep talking about what you're talking about.
I mean, yeah, I like him as Geralt too, but yeah, it's like just in regards to the description of the books, he's like just supposed to be this rough, rugged-looking dude.
Oh, 25 minutes before it goes down. Well, that's
okay.
It's not enough time to do anything.
Yeah, it really isn't.
The news is true on the Flash movie. I'm not watching it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, either way,
he has an OnlyFans, XXX, if you're interested.
I'm good.
No, I'm saying you have an OnlyFans.
Oh.
Jeez.
How would I?
Never.
And why would you say I'm good? If you had one, you would want people to sign up for it. That's the entire point. So anyway,
Henry Cavill keeps coming out saying he's not leaving. So I don't know where the news came from that he's leaving.
Okay.
But I know he was having some conflicts with some of the show writers saying like this isn't what the books were saying because he's a total freaking nerd.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He plays a lot of online games too. So
and he has a YouTube. I think he had a YouTube video where he actually put together a gaming PC. It was hilarious.
Yeah, the dude plays Warhammer. Apparently, he plays Eldar, which I play Eldar and Dark Eldar. So way to go.
He does.
So Cody's calling you out here. He goes, why would the biggest Witcher alert need this?
Yeah, that's what the thing is I don't think with the conversation that I had read, I'll next time we have a conversation about it. I don't have it pulled up here, but what I had read was saying that it was a scheduling conflict. It wasn't that he wanted to leave the show. It was that filming was causing him to leave the show. But if they're doing a prequel series and he's not in it, then that's the scheduling conflict that I am thinking of. So they just did a prequel series and he'll be back. Or did he get injured? I can't remember.
Quinlan goes, well, won't be watching The Witcher going forward. I hate the main cast changes as far. And I mean, I hate that kind of stuff too.
I'm just glad they kept Yennefer.
He did get injured at some point, but I don't remember all the details about what actually happened. But
Yeah, it wasn't like huge news for me because I haven't even watched The Witcher. So
yeah. So anyway, that's where we're going to wrap this up. Next week we'll be back. We'll be back on Sundays next week because now the holidays are over. I'm hoping. But right now we're dealing with snow. Is there any snow over there with you guys that's still on the ground?
It is for me.
I haven't checked recently, but it was like some flurries here and there. It probably melted by the time.
I mean, it could be melted by now. I think it's like more like ice outside now.
Yeah,
and it's going to be almost. It's going to be up in the high 60s on Wednesday. So
who cares? Yeah, any snow that fell is gone now.
Yeah,
that's what we get for living on the coast.
I know. Anyway, we're out. We will see you guys next week. I think Batwoman comes back this week, so I'm excited to see the new episodes. So we'll see everyone later. Take care.
Happy birthday, Johnson Overrules.